If you're hurt, injured, don't waste time. Gary Johnson cries for every dime.
Welcome to Simply the Law, a program created by attorney Gary C. Johnson. Simply the Law provides free legal advice and encourages happiness and quality of life. Now, here's Simply the Law with Gary C. Johnson. Hello, everyone. Welcome into Simply the Law. I'm Keith Casebolt. This is the guy that created the program, Gary C. Johnson.
Wonderful to be here. Wonderful. Oh, my goodness, folks. Isn't it wonderful? Woohoo! We made it. Hot dog. Another whole week. Woo!
Now, you know what? You used to do that all the time. And 20 years ago, I'd think, what's the big deal about making it another week? 20 years later, and now that my hair's white, woohoo! We made it another week.
We made it another week.
I'm with you.
You guys feel the same way, don't you? Woohoo!
Pretty exciting.
And hopefully we'll make it another whole week. Boy, wouldn't that be wonderful? Hey, guys and gals doing? Thank you for letting us hang out with you. We love to hang out with you folks. Hot dog. You all are showing good and honest and sincere appreciation for each other in the room, right? One of you's not way over there, and the other one way over there, right? Hmm?
Now, wait a minute. Be careful. A couple of shows ago, you had people sit closer together on the couch, and you even talked about maybe saying thank you and how important you are and holding hands, and you caused a lot of things going on there.
Well, there's just some of them called and said they didn't know what to do after the show went off. I said, use your imagination.
There you go.
Think back when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
It'll work out. It is so good to be alive, isn't it? So good to be a human. Even though we come with a few frailties. Few. Isn't it amazing if we could go back and have a little bit of the sense we've got today when we were young? But that's inconsistent, right? You're going to live forever when you're young. And you get to make decisions just like that without any 24-hour rules or anything. Isn't it wonderful to be? Then you make mistakes and choices when you're young. And the tragedy is you have to live with those when you're older. Make the most of it. Now let's talk about a little bit about life. Not easy, is it? It's hard. Every day, trying to survive, trying to work, trying to earn a living, dealing with the people in your lives that tend to want to make you miserable. All of those things are out there, and you deal with them day in and day out, and you go on, because that's just the way it is. So what you've got to do, my friends, is you've got to take some of that and set it aside for you. They say, well, you're being selfish. No, you're not. You only have one life. And as we said in that one of the last programs, today's the time to do. Today. Some things for you. Some things you like to do. Some things that will make you laugh. Some things that will make you feel a little joy in this life. Understanding that all of those other things are not going to go away, and you have to deal with them. But when you deal with them, look at the positive in it if you can find some. And if you look hard enough, you'll find some positive. Sometimes it's hard to do. But understand, life is a journey. And to a great extent, it is a difficult journey. But the journey is all you've got. The destination is we get old, hopefully, and then we die. That's the destination. So all you've got is the journey, my friends.
You know, I like how you just pointed out this do something, because it made me think the other day. My office manager said, I've noticed something about you. Every day at 4:30, you stop what you're doing and you watch the Andy Griffith Show in your office. Why? And I said, because that's my time. no matter how busy the day's been, that little 30 minutes that I stop to watch Andy Griffith, it makes me feel good. There's wisdom about the show. It makes me laugh. I've seen every one of the shows a dozen times. But still, if you come by my office at 4:30, I take a break and I watch 30 minutes of Andy Griffith because it makes me happy. That's my little time away from things.
And that's the point I'm making. There's got to be something for you in all of this harshness of living. Life is wonderful. Being able to even watch this program is wonderful. Even though you may not care about the program, it's just the fact the ability to do it is wonderful. Mm-hmm. And you've got, as I've told many times on this program, that small dash. And in that small dash, you're making a journey, a simple journey, a journey through your life. Don't let all of those things out there that are tough, because life isn't easy. It's not. But you can grab and squeeze some of the good stuff out of it if you think about it and take the time. And don't let others drag you down. The biggest thing that I've seen that impacts people's sense of well-being and happiness, other than health, is the actions of other people. You can only do certain things about your health, but you can do a whole lot about letting other people drag you down. And if that's your source of misery, or being uncomfortable, or not enjoying and having to be able to live your journey, then if you possibly can, think your way out of it and do something about it. It's that simple. It's not, well, I guess it's not that simple. The concept is that simple, but putting it into action may be very difficult. But in the long run, it'll be worth it.
You know, we ended last week's program. You had some really good quotes, and two of them were, give more and expect less. I can honestly tell our friends, in the 20 years that I've been doing this program with you, you have encouraged thinking, and you have encouraged being grateful for the things you do have and not worrying about the things you don't have. And because of that, I think when you do that, Gary, when you're spending your time being thankful for the things you have, you get less upset over slights or problems or day-to-day things that would normally aggravate you.
You may have made choices when you were young that's put you in situations where that you could have done better. Okay? But that was a choice you made. And you can live your entire life with that regret of that choice. Or you can embrace it, and say, I made the choice. I'm going to live with it, and I'm going to make the most of it. And I'm not going to live with regret, and I'm not going to say, what if, what if, what if. If you go back and try to do the what ifs, you will be miserable. Miserable. And the choice you made may not have been a bad choice. It may just seem like it was a bad choice. In other words, you've got people in your lives today that wouldn't be there had you not made that choice. Now, would you have those people disappear and go off into Neverland? Because if you went back and made a different choice, they wouldn't be in your life. Now, if they're worthwhile and you want them in your life and you treasure having them in your life, then that choice you're whining about was probably the right choice for you. Make sense?
Not only does it make sense, I think one of the most powerful things that you've ever told our friends was when you talked about if there's a person in your life that is bringing you misery, then withdraw permission. And I said, wait a minute, Gary, it's that easy? You said, yes, it's your life. It's your duty to protect your happiness. And if someone is bringing you misery, withdraw the permission.
It's the only life you've got. You don't get two of them. Don't squander it, my friends. Let's take a break and we'll be right back.
That's a good point. I mean, if there's a do-over, it's a do-over today. Time to do is time to do. Stay with us. Gary C. Johnson and Simply the Law comes back after you see this.
You notice on the legal advertisement of lawyers that they've made verdicts an issue? Well, guess what? This old boy from Eastern Kentucky's got the largest verdict in the state of Kentucky, and nobody's even come close to it. Over my career, I've got my client verdicts of over $315 million. Yep, I'm glad they made verdicts an issue. Check my record and I'll bet you decide it might be wise to give old Gary a call.
Welcome back into Simply the Law. I was thinking during the break, you know, the biggest thing that most people have said to me is when Gary gives this advice and says, you can withdraw permission or you should be happy, they say, I never realized I was in control of that. I always thought circumstances were in control or other people were in control, but you're sitting here telling me I'm in control.
If you have the power to make a choice, then you are in control. I was talking to somebody the other day that had been hurt in a wreck, and they said, I feel so powerless, I have no power because it's been taken away from me because of these injuries. I said, no, you do have power. You have the power to choose someone to represent you. You have the power to take advantage of the legal system that was put in place to protect you. You have the power to choose the right lawyer. That's your power. You did not lose your power. You still have the power of choice. And they understood, I believe, what I was talking about.
But you know, I could understand where that could be imposing, that they're saying, wait a minute, I'm up against this big insurance company that has television commercials all over the place with the little lizard, and you're going to say, little old me, I can come up and hold them accountable. I can stand there and make them do the right thing.
You choose the right lawyer, you can bring them to their knees. It's that simple. They'll be proud to write you a check to get rid of you. But it's a choice. You have power. No matter what your circumstance, if you have a choice, you have power. That's the point I'm trying to make to you folks. You don't lose it, all your power. And if you're twirled, you know what, in a wreck, you still have the power to choose a lawyer.
And is that the greatest thing about our country? We have that freedom. We have that right.
Yeah, you have power that comes from being an American. Let's go to the computer. I want to talk to you about some stuff. There's our number in case any of you need to call us. GaryCJohnson.com webpage. In general, make sure you have your underinsurance. For 20 years I've been preaching this. Arbitration, nursing homes and hospitals do not sign their arbitration agreement. Just don't do it. In general, I taught let's go off the computer for a sec. I just got back last week from a seminar that I taught to a group of attorneys in the Dominican Republic. They had their winter outing there. And it was a 3-day thing where I had to present for 3 days to these lawyers. And they bill themselves as the finest lawyers in the world. After spending 3 days with them, I got my doubts, but but there were some things that I pointed out to them that are just simple. And I don't think most of them had ever thought about it. And I'm going to share just a few of those things with you that I pointed out to those lawyers the Primerus, Primerus group that literally bill themselves as the finest lawyer in the world. And me and this jury consultant, we had 3 days to present this seminar for them. I don't know why they asked me, but I went and did it anyhow. So let's go back to computers. So I put this in the frame of reference of what I'm talking about here. One of the first things I told them was clients seek you out because they've been harmed. Otherwise, they wouldn't be needing you. They wouldn't be there if they had any other choice than to find a lawyer. The client has a choice as to which lawyer to choose, but they have no choice but to go to a lawyer. There is no one else that they can go to make a report as to what their injuries are and what happened to them. Then the lawyers have to become their advocate. They have to absolutely spend the time necessary to advocate the client's case on their behalf. That is not an option. And there are certain things they must believe, the attorneys, if they're going to do their job. As I was teaching these lawyers, this is the same exact slides I use. One, you must believe in your client, and you must believe in their injuries, and you must believe in the justness of their cause. You must believe that they have the injury. You have to satisfy yourself from the medical records that the client has the injuries, and you must then believe it. And then you must 100% believe in the legal system. The lawyer must, before they can ever truly represent their client. And again, this is the same speech I'm giving to these lawyers. And then this is the big one that I tell them. Most of all, you must trust the jury.
Now, Gary, this is the most important, because when I first started doing the program with you, I was astonished that you said, Keith, the jury is always right. And I was like, well, wait a minute, you've got to tell me that the jury sometimes misses it or something like that. And you said, no. The burden is upon the attorney to make sure they get all the information they need in order to make the right decision. If the attorney doesn't get them all the information, they made the right decision because they didn't get the information they needed. That's a big burden upon the attorney to make sure all that information gets to that jury.
Well, you take a client's case and you believe the clients what they tell you as to what happened. There's times when that's not what happened. If it's not what happened, the jury will figure it out. And you will lose that case, as you should. Because if the client caused the wreck, even though you're choosing to believe your client and try to put on their case for them and be an advocate, which is your job, the jury will look at the evidence and figure it out. And trust me, they're always right. I've been in this business 40-some years, and in looking back on a jury verdict, I've never felt like it was the wrong verdict based on the facts that the jury heard. Never. Let's take our second break and we'll be right back.
You know, after doing the program with Gary for about a year, I realized his model. He told me he'd never take a case unless the person was injured. If they're injured, he's going to take the case. He's going to ask for all the money, and he's going to present all the facts to the jury because they will always do the right thing. Pretty important. Stay with us. Gary C. Johnson and Simply the Law comes back after you see this.
I'm attorney Gary C. Johnson. I hate these commercials as bad as you do. I have no choice if I want to let you know that I'm in the business of practicing law, representing injured people, except to do this commercial. I don't fish. I don't golf. I get money for injured people. Check my record. Go to GaryCJohnson.com, and I'll bet you if you've been hurt, you might want to give me a call.
Welcome back into Simply the Law. Now, first of all, you said, why did they ask Gary Johnson to come teach this? I think our friends realize after some of the stuff you're putting up here, we know why they called you to come, because you're good at this. But Gary, when you put that, you've got to have faith in the system. That was a really important headline up there, because you do have faith in the system that if you do all the right things and you get the information on your client to the jury, the system will work.
The system does work. Now, does that mean we win every single case? Maybe occasionally, once ever so often, it'll turn out that our client had deceived us, and the jury picks up on it and says, these other people aren't liable. It can happen. But the bottom line is the system works. Now, if you've got a lawsuit and you're trying to trick some lawyer into taking your case when you know you caused the case, unless somebody settles and gives you a little bit of money and you go to a jury, the jury will figure it out. It's magic. The jury will figure it out, and you will be rolled out of there with nothing. It's just the way it is. The jury system works.
And it's the way that it should be.
And that's exactly the way it should be.
Yeah.
That's why you have a jury. You know, that's why you have it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to the computer. I want to talk to you folks about some stuff. One of the things that I told those attorneys is you need to talk to your clients when they come in and tell them that the table that they're sitting at represents everything in their life, everything. Their church, their family members, whatever it is, work. And that you're getting ready to be involved potentially in litigation that may actually take a period of time. Now, then I say to them, and I mark a little spot on the corner of the table, I say, this is how much of your life you're going to give to this lawsuit. You're not going to worry about the lawsuit. You're not going to think about it. If you've got a question, just call us. That's what we're here for. It's what we do for a living. You're not going to be able to figure anything out and come to us and say, oh, by the way, I figured this out. Don't be thinking about it. Just put it out of your mind and live the rest of the table of your life and go on with it. Now, if that person doesn't do this, they will either develop what I consider a conversion disorder, a somatoform disorder, or depression, or all three.
Gary,
because a lawsuit can drive them crazy.
In all fairness, and I really appreciate that, but from the client's point of view, this person has been horribly injured. Their life is on the line. All of their finances are on the line. The rest of this life you're talking about, they're worried about how they're going to take care of their children, how they're going to pay the rent. I can easily understand how this overwhelms them and causes more damage mentally just because what they're worried about.
It is overwhelming to someone that's involved in a lawsuit. Good, decent people don't want to be in a lawsuit. Good, decent people want to stay as far away from a legal system as they can stay. It is an emotional trauma for a person to be involved in a lawsuit. Now, let's take that as a given. If they dwell, and if any of you know anyone that's in a lawsuit, you need to talk to them. If they dwell on that lawsuit, and if they think about it and think about it and think about it, it will cause them to not sleep at night, which will impede their healing. If you can't sleep, you can't heal. Psychologically, the brain will go somewhere where it needs to go. And psychologically, they may very well develop a conversion disorder where they take the psychological problem of being in a lawsuit and convert it to more injuries. I've had clients say that over the time that their problems got worse. Well, normal people heal, right, with time. Because that's the way it is. They get better. They may not completely get well, but they will improve. That's normal. But yet you have people that their pain over time gets worse and worse and worse.
Well, you're pointing this out, but here's the insurance company who wants to drag this out as long as they can. Here's the injured person that needs the help as fast as they can. Isn't that doing damage in itself?
I told these lawyers, make the jury understand the harm it's causing the client to be in a lawsuit. It is a major damage to a client. Let's take our last break and we'll come right back.
Valuable information. Stay with us. We'll be wrapping everything up. Gary C. Johnson, Simply the Law, when we return right after this.
Insurance companies will test lawyers to see if they know what they're doing. Luckily, they tested me. And because of that, over the years, I've been able to get verdicts for my clients in excess of $315 million in the state of Kentucky, most of which are just in eastern Kentucky. We proved we know what we're doing. We proved we can go in front of a jury. And guess what? Most of my cases settle now. Wonder why? Give us a call.
Welcome back into Simply the Law. What you ended that segment with was so vitally important because I had a very close friend that went through about 1.5 to 2 years trying to get help. And I saw all the emotions. I saw the depression. I saw the effect on this individual's life that it took because of the unknown of what was going to happen.
Someone comes along and causes someone harm. They have insurance. They would need a lawsuit if there's no insurance. Say that again. No lawsuit if no insurance. Period. Now, the insurance companies want to pretend like that it's the person that's being sued, which the law requires that person to be sued, and it is their money. No, it's insurance. The insurance company is the one that hires the lawyer to represent the person that caused the harm. They don't choose their own lawyer. The lawyer is chose for them by the insurance company, lawyers that specialize in defending insurance companies. Period. That's the way it works. There's a lawsuit, there's insurance, and there's an insurance lawyer. Now, why don't they just pay? Because they found, bottom line, if they drag it out and drag it out and drag it out, that over time, the person will give up. They give up.
Literally.
Literally. And they take the small amount of money that the insurance tries to offer. That's the goal. That's why we literally fast track our cases. We file a case, we ask for a trial date. Because the longer the case is out there, the less chances are that my client will be able to hold on for me to get them the money they deserve, that they're entitled to, or actually the insurance money.
My friend, listen, valuable information. You see why this guy is teaching the other people, don't you? I mean, with that kind of information, the system does work. Unfortunately, not as fast as we want, but it does work. Thank you so much for taking this time to tune in. On behalf of Gary C. Johnson, I'm Keith Casebolt. We look forward to seeing you again next week, right here at this very same time. Thank you for watching Simply the Law, a program created by Gary C. Johnson. Until next week, may you be safe, blessed, and happy.